Hey, fifth grade. Welcome back. We are going to be talking a little bit more about modern music today. So, again, modern music is this time period of music history. Now, we talked a little bit about kind of what modern music was. This started happening at the turn of the 20th century, so the year like 1900. And we listened to some examples of French music, Ravel and Debussy. And what was happening in Paris at the time was kind of influencing what was happening everything around the world. Now, we're going to take a little jump across the ocean to America. So, in the United States, around this time, we start hearing classical music in America. America having its own voice of classical music. It's a little different. It doesn't sound like the French music, but this is where we start hearing a lot of very, very famous musicians. Most notably, John Philip Sousa. So, John Philip Sousa writing a lot of marches at this time and continue with that. So we're going to listen to some examples before we talk about that and how that influenced everything else going on. But one thing I really want you to be aware of is how at this time in America, we didn't have TV, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have radio, and if you had recordings or albums, you were very, 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 very wealthy. These were not something that everybody had in their house. So to go see music was to go hear live music. So this was your average entertainment, that if you were looking for something to do over the weekend, you would go out and you would see a concert. You would take the train to the nearby town that had a band coming in, and you would hear these community bands play, and we start hearing this American music. So, a lot of American music is very contentious leading up to this, though. We get a lot of music that is reflective of slavery and what was happening in America before the 20th century. And so that also starts to have a massive influence on what this music sounds like. What I mean is we start to hear blues, jazz, and that eventually turns into rock and roll and music that we start to hear today. So American music starts to branch out and create its own stuff. So modern music history, we see a lot of stems on this tree. It's not a straight path like we hear with some of the other stuff before. So we're going to listen to kind of some of the beginnings of what classical American music was sounding like in the modern period. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next week.